Henderson ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comment.
Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with a little bit of a Cajun flair. I'm Daniel Hawks. That's Jarrett Roser. I can't ever get it. Today, we're keeping up with Paul Skenes after his All-Star performance. We're going to talk about the Pelicans finish in Summer League, and then we're going to get you out of here. It's going to be nice and quick. How you doing, Jarrett?
Good, man. Just another day in paradise, navigating the world around us right now.
I think this is the latest we've ever recorded. We're recording this at like 9 p.m. We both had some stuff to do today. So in honor of that, I'm just going to bring out my star, it matches your shirt. I don't know. I felt like it would go.
Just bringing out desk toys. I'll show you
Whoa!
this rubber ducky from Cosmo's Aqua Kama Sutra that was actually, for some reason, in the Daily Reveille office 15 years ago and came home with me.
Well, listen, I love that. Gabby gave me this. She's a bartender friend of mine, and she made me a nice little thing. So they're pretty much the same. But let's get into this today. So first off, we both kind of talked about this. We want to talk about former LSU pitcher, current Pirates pitcher, their #1 overall draft pick, Paul Skenes. He has been actually driving people back to the MLB, which has been great to see. Just listen to some of these things. He hasn't had a ERA in any game over 3 since his very first start. It's been a 1.39 on the season. As of taping this, he just had 8 strikeouts versus the St. Louis Cardinals. And really, it was all anyone wanted to talk about during the All-Star festivities and weekends post, the certain anthem that we heard for the home run derby. Listen, I just want to give the kid his props. It's been so much fun to watch him. I do not watch baseball a lot, as we've covered on this show many times before, but he's actually made me excited to kind of watch it. So let's go, Paul.
Yeah, I think we ended up cutting a segment early on where we kind of both acknowledged how little baseball, Major League Baseball, we've watched in a while, where we were just kind of struggling to see if we could name 10 Major League players. And that's part of why I think we really wanted to give Skenes his shout out. We talked about it a little bit last week, but there was so much going on draft wise and whatnot that we got sidetracked. But people just aren't watching Major League Baseball the same way we used to as a country, when we were growing up, and we certainly aren't watching a ton of baseball. But the things that Paul Skenes are doing, the things being done by Paul Skenes, the things
I was going to let you get there by yourself, baby boy.
It's 9 p.m. We're going on like hour 15 of being awake, but it's super notable in a historical sense. He's, I think, the first one of 2 players ever in MLB history to have more than 70 strikeouts and 12 or fewer walks in his first 10 starts. He's up there among the league leaders. In terms of Major League, both national and American, in terms of his strikeouts per innings average. He's at about a strikeout and a third per inning. So every 3 innings, he's striking out 4 people. Was one of just 5 rookie pitchers ever selected to start an all-star game, and was the first in Hideo Nomo back in 95. And so there's all these different pieces of the equation for him. He's right now the ridiculous favorite to win the NL Rookie of the Year, and that's an award that not a ton of pitchers have won over the last 15 years.
Not a ton of players that were playing college ball last year have done what he's doing.
We're a year and 2 weeks removed from him being drafted. He gets called up in May and is now, historically notable numbers and opportunities and whatnot left and right. And so as much as we look back from an LSU perspective at, okay, Joe Burrow was on this great pace before he got hurt in 2020. Odell was an NL Rookie of the Year, Shaq back in the early 90s. And so some of these great former LSU athletes starting their careers and just kind of carrying that momentum. Paul Skenes is having one of the great rookie years in any sport by a former LSU athlete.
Hey, it's great to see. It's great. I think we should make May 11th the day he got called up. That should be Paul Skenes Day. Can we talk about that? Also, this is another reason why you shouldn't go to Air Force for college if you want to be a professional athlete. Transferring over so he doesn't have to perform that duty and he can go right into the professional leagues is one of the things that he said why he came to LSU, to get that chance to play professionally later. So if any recruits are watching this vid, they can just look at that and then come to LSU. So
go to Air Force, kind of get your feet wet a little bit, and then go to LSU, win a national championship.
Get a regimen in.
Become one of the great rookie pitchers we've seen in quite a while.
You know, bada bing, bada boop. That's all you got to do. You know, that's
the blueprint's there.
Yeah. Yeah. So big shout out to Paul Skenes. We are going to keep hyping you up as long as you keep doing awesome. Almost cursed. Awesome stuff.
Nice.
Next, we just kind of wanted to update you guys. Pelicans finished up their summer league. They did go winless, but it's the summer league. You kind of see what you want to see there. You know, I more am looking at the players. Both are big guys. They looked, you know, it's not the same competition that they're going to see. But both Misi and Makovic looked good. I mean, it didn't look, again, like we kind of said on our last episode, or I think I said, like, I want to make sure you don't look overwhelmed. If the speed of summer league is starting to overwhelm you, I'm going to be a little concerned about what the speed of actual LeBron James, not Bronny, is going to do to you when you're on the floor. And they both look good. Pelicans also signed their second round pick, Antonio Reeves, out of Kentucky. So he's officially on the squad now. And now we kind of look forward to the season. But Jared, any thoughts on the summer league, on the Pels from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think to what you said, essentially for fans that are, and I reference sometimes, I don't know if I've talked about it on this show, but I think the New Orleans Pelicans fan base, there are people that are kind of gradually coming into NBA fandom, and so kind of learning different stuff and catching up to speed on some things. Don't worry overly about summer league is kind of the big message. Take that with a huge grain of salt and not get particularly concerned that they're 0-5, but just look for guys out there that are going to make the roster. And it's usually few and far between. They're going to make the actual roster. And you kind of listed most of them right there. We already knew Jordan Hawkins would be a part of this, but making sure that they look like legitimate professional players. And some of the things that we saw, especially gradually toward the end of summer league from Yves Misi, his matchup with Zach Edey early on, just seeing a couple of the highlights of some of the things he was doing that I didn't know if you'd see him kind of, you know, put the ball on the floor and work around a guy that is, you know, a big imposing defensive presence and do some of the things, including he had a little dish to a cutter and then went and had a putback dunk. And so I got real excited by, I think it was game 4, about Yves Misi and where he is right now as a part of that, you know, likely platoon center situation going into the season.
Yeah. And we'll see what kind of comes of all of these rookies kind of performance, because when the NBA Cup comes up, we got murderers row. New Orleans got murderers row for what we're going to go into for what we saw last year from that in-season tournament did become very competitive. And obviously the Pelicans made it into that Final Four, that knockout round, and then kind of gave up. But Nuggets, Mavs, Golden State, and Memphis, who's going to be coming back with Triple J is going to be back. And then obviously Edey is going to be added into that rotation as another defensive presence, and Ja's back fully healthy, off suspension, everything like that. That should be a very good team. It is not going to be an easy draw for them.
No, I think inarguably that this is the group of death, you know, using the soccer terminology. This is the toughest group of any group this year. Last year, I think you could make a case, certainly the Pels group, if not the toughest, was one of the 2 toughest. And you keep Dallas and Denver from that and trade out the Clippers and Rockets in exchange for that, as you mentioned, they should be back, resurgent Memphis team with Ja and company, and the Warriors, who I think folks saw them stumble a little bit this past year dealing with some things, and then watch Clay.
Looks like we've got some technical difficulties. Jared's frozen. I don't know, man. I'm not just going to keep talking. I don't know. I could, maybe a should. That this is why I can't carry a show by myself. Okay, we'll be right back, y'all.
But I think this Warriors team this year is actually going to be better than some people are anticipating, kind of counting them out because of a little bit of a down year and then losing Klay Thompson. But some of the moves they made, I think they'll be a deeper team, better suited. We also we'll wait and see if they ultimately do pull the trigger on a Lowry Markkanen deal or what else happens.
Or Levine. If Levine comes back and plays for the Bulls and he's putting up, 25 to 28 a game, I do not think that trade market is going to stay stagnant for him. Especially a team like the Warriors wanted some scoring. So,
yeah, of the teams in the group, the Warriors are maybe the most likely to still make a notable trade. But even as is, I think that they're a team that is going to be more competitive and a tougher matchup than people maybe are giving them credit for right now. And so, yeah, you look at a group that was as tough as maybe any last year, and it's that much tougher this year. And I don't think anything else is close this year.
Hey, and so we're gearing up for the Olympics at the end of this week. So we'll luckily have some more basketball. We'll have some more just sports in general that we normally do at this time of year, which will be super fun. That'll be great. And then that NBA season will be right around the corner. Next episode, I do want to go over this. We are going to do like an idiot's guide to football, and I'm the idiot. So we're going to go over an idiot's guide to LSU football. Please check it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited to learn.
Yeah, not just the idiot's guide to football. We're not going to be explaining what a touchdown is, but in terms of this 2024 LSU roster, sort of the starter pack of information of who do you need to know that maybe you didn't see last year, some breakout guys, some potential freshmen we'll see playing early, strongest position groups that we're going to be kind of watching early on and hope they shore some things up, but should be fun to kind of lead into camp with it.
Hey, and that is going to be our next episode. That'll be dropping next week at some time, probably around the middle of the week. We are PODnas. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about everything sports related, with a little bit of Louisiana flair, a little bit of touch. But you can follow us on socials, PODnas_LA on Instagram, and then Louisiana versus all y'all on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at LAV all y'all. Is that correct? Did I get it right?
VS, LAVS,
LAVS, all y'all. So please follow us there. Comment, like this video, share it. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? What are we not talking about that we should be talking about? Please, we want to hear from you. And until next time, PODnas out.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, comma and a comma.